Today is October 2nd. Today's quote is entitled Remorse. Srila Prabhupada said that remorse arises in the heart of any good soul when they do something wrong. Remorse removes the seed in the heart that led to the wrong behavior. So this statement of Srila Prabhupada is found in the Bhagavatam in relation to the story of Parikshit Maharaj. Because after Parikshit Maharaj put a snake on the neck of Samik Rishi and he left, he began to feel remorse. And then Prabhupada said, any great soul, when they do something wrong, will feel remorse. Later on, it's explained that both Samik Rishi and his son Shringi felt remorse. Samik Rishi felt remorse that he didn't control the situation. He remained in meditation. He could have come out and dealt with it. Obviously, Shringi did something so horrible as to curse a king to die, so he later was feeling extreme remorse, crying and crying and crying. So they all felt remorse because they were all good souls. Now we have another example of that with the story of the four Kumaras going to Vaikuntha. There are 7 gates. They went through 6. When they came to the 7th, they weren't allowed in. Jai and Vijay stopped them, and they became very upset and said, we've gone through 6 gates. Why aren't you letting us in? Well, actually the reason is the 6th gate is the gate of Bhakti, and they didn't have Bhakti. The other gates, you had to have certain qualities, and the 4 Kumaras had those qualities. But when they went to the 7th gate, that was the gate of Bhakti. It was like, the security gate. They didn't get through. That gate beeped. The other 6 didn't. So Jai and Vijay were actually just doing their duty because the 4 Kumaras did not deserve to go in. And they wanted to see Krishna. Anyway, they were blocked. They became upset. They began fighting Jai and Vijay. And the Kumara said, you don't belong here because you don't know what you're doing. And then Jai and Vijay said, you don't belong here. You're not allowed through this gate. And so Vishnu came. Vishnu apologized because anything that a servant does, right or wrong, it reflects on the spiritual, on the master, and therefore he's responsible. So he came and apologized. Then Jai Vijay apologized. Then the 4 Kumaras apologized. Everyone immediately apologized. So it is said the first person to apologize wins the argument. Yesterday we heard a nice story that there was once a meeting, GBC meeting, and there was a lot of friction in the meeting. I don't know the details, but it wasn't going well. And in the middle of the meeting, Satsvarup Maharaj stood up and said, I'm sorry. He had nothing to do with what was going on, but he just said, I'm sorry, and gradually every GBC member said, I'm sorry. So there's a lot of power in apology, and as Prabhupada said, every good soul will feel remorse when they do something wrong, because Krishna within the heart tells us, and that remorse causes us to rectify. Now, the last thing we said was remorse removes the seed in the heart that led to the wrong behavior. That's the power of remorse. I did something wrong. There's a seed of desire, or a seed, an attitude of behavior, an attitude that caused the behavior, and the remorse removes the seed. The idea of remorse is that I won't do it again. So remorse is very beneficial. Maybe it's not such a pleasant emotion, but it's necessary and beneficial. And therefore we could say, based on what Prabhupada said, if we do something wrong and we don't feel remorse, then actually there's something wrong with us, that we should feel remorse. We shouldn't think, I'm psychologically weak, or it's going to degrade me, or be something negative. No, it's not negative. It's very positive. It could be a negative if you process it in the wrong way. But remorse is very positive. Now, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and I believe it's Harinam Chintamani, said, if we commit offense to the holy name, the solution is not only to continue chanting, but the solution is to chant with remorse for having committed that offense. So remorse rectifies it, because it's possible I could continue chanting with offense and not rectify the offense. But if I chant with remorse, the idea is, or the psychology of remorse is that it's in the mood of rectification. I feel bad for what I did, so therefore I would rectify it. So feel remorse if you do something bad. It's purifying. If we're a good soul, Prabhupada said, we will feel remorse. And Indra, he always does, seems like he's always doing something wrong. And he comes and apologizes to Krishna. He feels remorseful. Brahma stole the calves. He comes back a year later. He realizes he did something wrong. He apologizes. This is the natural behavior of a Vaishnava.